Welcome to the 2016-2017 Athletic Code meeting for Altoona High School and Middle School. All athletes that are involved in sports at Altoona will need to, and parents are required to watch this video before their son or daughter is able to participate in athletics. Let me start by talking briefly about our strength and conditioning program. This past summer, the school district hired Kyle Rothbauer, and he is a certified trainer to work with our boys and girls. And he is going to be utilized throughout the school year to create programs for all of our athletes, boys and girls, and he'll create specific programs for their specific sport, in season, out of season workouts. So it's really going to benefit our athletic programs. As far as sports for our high school students, this fall we'll offer football, cross country, volleyball, and starting just last year was boys soccer. So boys and girls in high school will have those choices to participate in the fall. Middle school sports, in the fall we will have girls tennis. We'll do middle school soccer. We will have volleyball, football, and cross country for our middle school athletes as well. Starting times for middle school sports usually takes place after school starts, about that September 12th date. Football for middle school boys, 7th and 8th grade boys, that will start on August 29th at 3:30, and they will meet right on the football field on that first day and introduce you to the coaches and get names and things like that. Part of the process for participating in sports and athletics in Altoona is an online registration. We're going to go through that a little bit here in this meeting and kind of walk you through everything that you need to do and all the important things you need to consider before your son or daughter plays sports at Altoona. A couple of things that are required that you do. Each child needs a physical form. Physicals are good for 2 years, so 2 calendar years. What we do need is to have that on file. Some people like to scan it and send it in to us. We just want to make sure that it's legible. So if you want to fax that into us, email it to us, bring us the hard copy, and we will scan it. Whatever works and whatever is easiest for you. Just make sure that it is completely filled out. Doctor's signature. There's a box that says the doctor says that you are able to participate, and then that we can read that if you're scanning it and sending it in. Okay. Online registration. If you that's one of the forms. We'll go through how to do that here in just a second. We're going to talk about and you should look at the WIA site for banned substances. There's some concussion material that will be on the website, that will be on our homepage and our athletics webpage, that you should look over, as well as there's a video on Life of an Athlete. Life of an Athlete talks about choices that students make, and so it's really important that you sit down with your son or daughter and take a look at Life of an Athlete presentations that we're showing to our student athletes as well. Lastly, there's a role of the parents in athletics, and that will also be on the webpage. Take a look at that, what we're looking for from you as parents as you join the athletic family for Altoona High School. A couple of things, information maybe you want to jot down, but if you need assistance, you need help, our high school office has 2 secretaries that are always available and willing to help out. High school phone number is 715-839-6031. That'll always get you directly to somebody. Not so much now in August, but towards the end of August and September, once school starts, they're always here. Okay. The activities department, if you dial that phone number, again 839-6031, extension 416 is the athletic secretary's office, and then 418 is my number, and I can certainly help out with any questions that you may have. Our school website is www.altoona.k12.wi.us. There's links to athletics, to our daily schedule for school. If any questions you might have, certainly look on the website, and I think that can answer a lot of those questions. And then also, lastly, I guess, is the WIA page, wiaawi.org. That website is obviously for the state of Wisconsin athletics. Take a look at that if you have some questions. We'll talk about some of those things coming up here, but definitely a great resource for you to look at as your son or daughter gets into their high school years. On our website, if you go on the right-hand side under the quick links, you'll see a tab called Athletics and Activities. If you click on that, that gives you access to all the individual pages, gives you access to the coach's information, lets you look at schedules for each individual sport, and you can put in which sport you want to look at, or if you want to look at all of them. You can look at a calendar week or a month or the whole season. That's also where our online registration is. So you're going to click on that online registration. You're going to, rather than giving us medical clearance to treat your son or daughter, emergency information, forms, all that stuff is being done online now. It gets processed immediately. We can tell who's filled out the forms and who hasn't. So very easy to do, should only take you a few minutes. The first thing you need to do is log in. If you've never used the online registration, you need to create a username and a password. If you have previously filled out an online registration, you'll scroll to the bottom and it'll say log in, and you'll use that. You're using the parent's username and password, not your student's username and password from school. That will not get them in. Okay? Here at school we have access to an athletic trainer. His name is Quincy Turpin. He is here pretty much every day of the week after school. He is here for our middle school athletes and our high school athletes. Quincy's a great trainer, willing to help out. He's can offer us help, as far as if your son or daughter gets hurt in practice or in a game, and he can help treat those injuries. So great resource to have here. He is brought to us through Dr. Drobert and Dr. Berg with Chippewa Valley Orthopedics. So again, great resource that we're able to utilize here at Altoona. As far as high school sports, we talked briefly about middle school sports. Our high school football, again, yep, they've started already. Girls tennis will start on August 9th. Girls golf, we co-op with Regis as an option for people. They start August 8th. Cross country for boys and girls, August 15th will be their first practice. Volleyball as well, August 15th. Boys soccer, August 15th. And then we also have dance team. The dance team is the only one of those sports that really runs most of the year, but they will begin on August 15th as well. So if your son or daughter is interested in any of those activities, they should get in contact with their coach or with myself. Winter sports, we offer girls and boys basketball, girls and boys hockey. Hockey is co-opt with, our boys co-op with Regis and McDonald for hockey, and our girls co-op with the Eau Claire schools and form the EC Stars. We also have wrestling, which we're again co-oping with Regis High School. We get a few numbers, and then again our dance team is participating in their competition season at that time. Our spring sports, we have baseball, softball, boys and girls track and field. Those all start in early to mid-March, and then we also have boys tennis, boys golf, which is our own team, and then we have girls soccer. So a lot of activities, a lot of sports for kids to get involved in here at Altoona. A couple of things. We will talk about the concussion law. It's a Wisconsin law that if your son or daughter is injured in a practice or in a game and they go and seek medical attention and you think it's a concussion, there's protocol that has to be followed by everybody. And it doesn't matter the age of the child or what sport they're playing in, the protocol is the same. So when you sign one of your online agreements is that you'll follow this protocol and you'll follow these this Wisconsin concussion law. Okay. One thing that happens with the concussion is that you cannot, or that your son or daughter cannot participate and come back to their sport until they've been medically cleared by a doctor. Quincy, again, our athletic trainer, will certainly help out, and he'll help assess the situation, but he cannot clear them to come back into the sports. Only a medical doctor can officially clear them to return to the game. Okay. We do something that's called impact testing for our athletes, where they take a test on the computer and we get the baseline score. That score will go over, and we'll keep that in case something were to happen to them during the season. Let's say they were to get a concussion, we can use that baseline score to see how much they've recovered. So we do pick up the cost for that, and we work with Oak Leaf Concussion Clinic with that, and make sure that our athletes are safe. The WIAA also has information on that if you get on their website, again, wiaawi.org, and then you can take a look at that if you're interested in further information. As far as our activities code, this activities code is about 1.5 years old, and we're just going to hit some of the highlights. Not going to go over the whole book. It is available to you online if you want to take a look at it. But the big thing is we're holding our athletes responsible for their behavior, for what they do. It's a privilege to play sports anywhere, not just Altoona, and we want to make sure that those athletes are making responsible choices. I personally have always held athletes to a higher standard. They're in the spotlight all the time. Anytime that you step onto the field, onto the court, and you've got that jersey on that says Altoona, you're representing not only yourself, your team, your school, your parents, and your coaches. So we want to make sure that those athletes are representing themselves and all those people in a positive light. Couple of things on the athletic code. Attendance. If your son or daughter leaves school at all during the day, runs home and they forgot their shoes, they are ineligible to practice or to play in a game that evening. The only time that this is waived is if they have a medical note from a doctor that says they were seen, and doctors in the area all know that we need these notes. It's not just an Altoona rule. This is very much an area rule. But that doctor will put a note that says they were seen at this time for this reason, and that would excuse them. And so a doctor's note. A parent note does not excuse them and does not get them back into competition or into practice for that evening. Okay. Grading. Grades are important, and we take a lot of time away from those athletes from studying because they go to practice or to games. So what our expectation is that students will not receive any failing marks. If they received failing marks, they may be sitting games. What we do is we take a look at their previous semester grades. So for our fall sports, we're going to look at their spring grades, their semester grades. And how that works is if they received one NC, that's a failing grade here at Altoona, they'll be sitting a game. And possibly 2 games, depending on their season. So most of our short seasons in the fall, they'll sit 1 game. If they had 2 or more NCs or failing grades in the previous semester, they're going to sit 15 school days. So what the WIAA has done with that is they've set dates that the students can come back to sports, because obviously football, for example, starting August 2nd, sitting 15 school days, they'd miss most of their season. So they have special dates for that. But you're going to sit, a fall athlete is going to sit about, a football player, for example, would sit 3 games if they had multiple NCs last school year. So we really want to emphasize academics to the kids, and that they are diligent with getting their homework done and doing well. It's not just about the sport. Academics is more important. It's probably going to take them further than the sports are going to take them. Okay. If a student does have an NC and failing grade during the season, they're not allowed to travel with the team. We want those athletes to stay home to make sure they're getting the work done and getting a grade back up to passing. So they're going to stay home. They're not going to ride the bus. They're certainly not going to get out of class early to go to an away game if they have those failing marks. So we're really going to emphasize that the academics part of this. Okay. If we see kids that are not making it to class, so they're tardy, whatever reason that might be, if they're late getting to school or if they're just dilly-dallying in the hallways, if we see a pattern which is more than 3 during their season, then they're going to end up sitting a game. Again, I don't think it's asking a lot for that student to be in class the entire time. So we're going to emphasize that to our kids over and over. If it gets, if I get a couple tardies to a class, I'll certainly pull them aside and remind them that they need to get to class on time. Okay. As far as our violations and our conduct rules, Students, there's a couple of different things, different ways that students can be coded for athletics. One is their behavior. If we see a repetitive behavior problem in class, that's going to be an athletic code violation. They need to be respectful. Again, they've got the spotlight on them, and it's not just when they're wearing that uniform, it's all the time. Another one is if they make poor choices with the AODA, with drugs and alcohol. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. First violation with drugs and alcohol is, or a major violation is 20% of their season. So it's if it involves AODA, they're going to be doing some community service, and they're going to write a letter to their teammates about what the choices they made and how it maybe affected them and how it affected their team. If there's a second violation, it's a 50% game suspension, so they're going to miss half of their season. They're going to have to go through AODA assessment, and the AODA assessment is going to be at the cost expense of the parents. Along with that, then they're going to have to do 15 community service hours. We're going to ask them to write that letter again. If there's a third violation, they're going to be suspended for 1 calendar year. They're going to do 20 hours of community service. They're again, if it's related to drugs and alcohol, they're going to have to do AODA counseling again, an assessment for that violation. So really important that, kids are going to make mistakes in the classroom and everywhere else, but we don't want to see the repeated mistakes. We're going to try to work with those student athletes and get them to kind of correct that behavior right away. Electronic transmissions, that's a big part, especially nowadays. Every kid seems to have a phone, and whether it's Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, you name it, things are out there. And with every other person having a phone, they're taking pictures, they're recording what our kids are doing or what people are doing. If your son or daughter is involved in the transmission of, or so they're doing the pictures and they're sending them out, or if they're involved in, they're the one that having the picture taken of them doing something that's inappropriate that constitutes a code violation, that can also make them get coded and be sitting for games. A couple of things about transfers. The WI is very strict on transferring. If you have not completed your 4th semester of high school, you're able to transfer to a different school district and still play sports, immediately play sports. Now, transferring to another school is up to that other school of whether they allow you to come in. It is not always an automatic. The incoming school does have the option of rejecting your open enrollment. But if you've completed more than 4 semesters of high school and you're looking to transfer, you will be sitting out a calendar year. The only way to avoid that is to get a waiver through the WIA, and that's not up to the incoming school or the school that you're leaving, but it's up to the WIA of whether you're going to play. So eligibility is a huge piece, especially nowadays with open enrollment. You really want to check into that before you look at leaving your current district. A couple of rule changes that the WIA has made this year, and we look at all of our athletes as being amateur. They have amateur status, meaning they're not getting anything for competing. They did change it this year, though, that athletes are allowed to participate in some non-school activities. An example would be a fun run or a color run. You can participate in that. You can still collect a small prize and not lose your amateur status. But if you win a race and they give you a $100 gift card and you accept that, you will lose your amateur status, which means you will not be able to compete in high school athletics. Now, can they give you a medal and a T-shirt for winning? Absolutely. And the WIA has a complete list of things that are okay to accept, prizes, and things that are not okay to accept. So very extensive list, but they're allowing students to do 2 of those per year. Okay. Transportation. This is a big piece of our athletic code, and we will transport to and from every competition, whether it's middle school or high school. We will provide transportation for your son or daughter to get to the game and to come back with the coach. If you get to the game and you want to bring the child home and you don't want them to ride the bus, there is a form. It's online. It's on our web page that tells you fill it out, and they have permission to ride home with you. You just give that permission slip to the coach after the game, and your son or daughter can ride home with you. You cannot take other people, other students, athletes with you, or your son or daughter cannot ride home with somebody else. It has to be with their parent and guardian. Okay. I do know some of our high school coaches really want their kids to ride on the bus just for that camaraderie, that connectedness with the team. So that'll vary in each individual sport. So a couple of reminders. We want all of our athletes to represent us and represent our school with class, and that's at the games and just at every day in their school. National anthem, we ask that everybody takes their hat, that they be quiet and respectful during the national anthem. We ask that they also stand during the school song. Some pretty simple requests. Lastly is treat officials, opponents, event personnel. There's teachers and things working at games or adults. We expect you to treat everybody with respect. So remind your son or daughter to do that. Lastly, and something that you will certainly see if you have not heard about it already, is our Altoona High School has signed a partnership with BIG Athletics out of the cities, and they are a sponsor of Adidas. And what BIG will allow us to do, we're signing this partnership, is we're going to get some very high quality uniforms at a very fair price that will allow us to equip our athletes with far nicer equipment than we've had in the past, and also do it more often. So we're going to be able to get uniforms more often for the kids at a cheaper price than we were previously. So we're also going to be able to offer that same quality product to fans and to parents, so that they're going to have a chance to get the apparel, for their son or daughter's team, or for any of our team sports for that matter. Now, something that's going to happen is those are going to be online registrations or online purchases, and you're able to get online. And I'll use football again as an example. The football website opened up here August 1st, and so you'll go in. There's a link on our website, on the school webpage, as well, the high school webpage, as well as our athletic webpage, if you want to look at that. But then, so if you'll click on Altoona High School, go down to the next drop-down menu, and you can, if you want to pick football, there's a password, and it's Rails Football or Rails FB, and that'll show you some apparel that you're able to order. They will deliver it right here to the school, or you can have it shipped directly to your home. There's a $10 service fee, a shipping fee if you want it delivered to your house, but and it doesn't matter how much you order. Or you can just get it here, come and pick it up at the school, or your son or daughter can pick it up pretty easy. But again, some quality apparel that we're going to be able to get at a much cheaper rate. The discounts and everything that we get with that are on the web page listed, but it's about 25% off of the sticker, or off the list price of an item, is what BIG is offering it to us and to our parents, okay, and our fans. Any questions, you can certainly call the high school. Again, my extension 418, and give me a call or shoot me an email if you have any questions about that. Okay. So if your son or daughter is getting involved, what I'm asking you to do is make sure you complete all the online registration materials. And if you're watching this video in place of attending that athletic code meeting, you will need to send me an email, letter J, Oliver, @altoona.k12.wi.us, and tell me that you have completed watching the video, and then that will be checked off for your portion of the athletic code. And so your son or daughter will be eligible to participate in sports as soon as you watch this video. All right? If you have any questions, please email, call, and I hope we're going to have a great year. Thank you very much.